In this video, we're going to look at how to track productivity on Google Docs, and in here we have a Google Docs playground where we'll be able to take advantage of a specific tool that is found in this particular Google space, and this tool will enable you to not only build a particular planner, like in terms of either not customizing it, but also customizing it, but also taking advantage of the tools that you are going to be creating, and those tools, how you're going to put them in stages for you and people that you're going to be collaborating with to not only be effective in producing work, but also in terms of fostering communication and putting everyone on the same page. And finally, here is going to be looking at in terms of what are the status that your projects are going to be at, and how you will be able to take advantage of that when it comes to working with other groups of people in various spaces and platforms, like for example either posting on social media platforms, or also in terms of your business sections that you are actually involved in. And so let's dive into this. First is build a planner, and to build a planner we're going to look at alternative number one, which is not customized version. And in not customized version, what we're going to do is go to insert, and once you go to insert, you're going to have the drop down menu that takes you to building blocks. And once you go to building blocks, there is other things that will be shown, and these are as follows. We have mailing notes, when to use email draft, we got product roadmap, and we're going to use that as our template that is already created by Google. And what you see are the following: you have projects column, you got the status, whether it is not started. If you click on this, you're going to have in progress, and also when it is launched. And finally, you're going to have related files that maybe you have on your Google Drive that you're going to probably link in here, and that'll be a fantastic way for people that are of your collaboration group to have that file available to them, and you all can put in information in there and also collaborate in terms of what are the tools that are going to be required. And finally, here are other notes that you guys are going to be able to share with each other, and you can create either a meet, like for example in here, once you go to this particular section, you have building blocks, you have a meet notes, you can click on that and you'll be able to have various calendar that will link it to Google Meets. By that way, whenever you guys are talking, those notes will be recorded already, or the information will be recorded while everyone is talking and collaborating, and then it will be posted right over here. So this is really fantastic to see this actually created, and I feel that this is a great way for you to create it without you customizing it. Now the other one here is through customizing, and what I usually do is, of course, you start off by creating a table, and what you do here is go to insert, go to table. Usually I create, in this case, 4 columns, and once you create your 4 columns, you can go, once you click on that, you're going to type, in this case, task. That will be your first column, and the second column here is going to be designated for key ideas. And the third column is going to be addressing what stages that your particular task is at. And usually when it comes to creating stages, we are going to need a couple of drop downs. And to create a drop down, this is where it's important. What you do is you go to insert, go down to drop down, and you'll be able to have couple of drop downs that are available. But if you want to create one for yourself, you just create a plus sign, which is a new section where you're going to be creating. In this case, we can make this, for example, title will be video process. And once you have that, you can have option 1, which will be designated for script. And once you type that, the next one here, record if you want, and next one here is edit. Let's just put it that way. And the final stage will be, in this case, upload. And so these are pretty much a generic way of setting up. You can put it however you want. This is just my preference in here. And so you can click on different colors. I'll click on this for script, click on this for record, click on this color for edit, and click on this color for upload. And so once I hit save, it means that whichever one in this case for task, let's say for example I have my first task I can have in this case key ideas to be for stage, how you're going to be able to introduce that particular drop down. All you have to do is go in here to insert, go to drop down, and you're going to have video process. You can have launch status. Those are suggested ones, which means either not started or in progress or launch, which is similar to what we have right here. Next one here is in this case project status, either not started or blocked, or review status, which is not started. And in this case we're going to click on video process, and once you click on that, it is at the script stage. And next here are tools that you might need, and the tools that you might need in this case includes the following. All this can be in the folder, definitely script document, and some of this here can be also linked to the actual document as well. The next one here is presentation. So these are the key things to keep in mind when it comes to creating and also developing a structure that allows for everyone to be on their specific task pages and also access various links to specific task that is connected to that general main project in this case. So instead of putting task here, we can change this here to project to make it actually be consistent with what we have right here. So if you think of how this is applicable to what we have here, you can just type this to be your introduction to chemistry, and the next one is not started, which means that, you know, when you're done with the other project, it means that the next project will be introduction to chemistry, and the related files will be, in this case you have all these here, which are the tools that are required. Copy and paste them over here. Next one here are notes, and in this case you can just go to insert, go to building blocks, you can create an email draft, or you can create a meet note, and these are a couple of drop down meets that you can link it to, and so you can select that, and that is how it's going to look like. So that's pretty incredible to see, and how this is going to be applicable in terms of building a planner. Now that is out of the way, the next one is how we're going to be able to build on the tools section in our way to create another drop down that might be of really great importance to the tools that is specific for a project. So let's dive into that. We have listed the following tools right here, and how we're going to be able to use these tools as a means to follow up on where everyone is at based on what they are assigned or assigned to. And now this is where we're going to create a new section, and this section here, what we have to do is go to insert again, go down to building blocks, and on this section we're going to have which one? Project assets. And this project assets is really incredible, because once you click on this, this is what we have right here, and based on this we can type the file name. In this case we have, for example, thumbnail, and this thumbnail you can link it in this case to Canva if you want to use Canva, or any of the Adobe that you guys use. I don't know what they are called. I use Google PowerPoint. I know I'm cheap in this case, but yeah, that is what I use. So the person that is assigned to this particular task will be able to click on it and follow the specific ideas or description or instructions that is created or based on brainstorming. Will be able to follow those in order for them to, you know, come up with the perfect thumbnail. And once you have this, you can finally look at the third column here, which is what status is it at, and the status that this particular project is at, or in this case file is at, is based on the person that is involved in that particular task, which is the thumbnail. And so not started, everyone knows that. If you click on this, in progress, which means the person is currently on creating that particular thumbnail. And finally here is the next one is under review, which means everyone in the group comes together and they look at the project or look at the finished product to see whether there are a couple of things that might need changes or good to go. And once that is at that particular final stage, the next stage is approved. That means the person that looks at it and feels that, hey, this is actually good to go, thumb approval, and it is good to go. So this is really wonderful in here. If you want to add or edit options, you can go for it for sure, but I feel that for a start, this is actually a great way to play around with those particular tools. After this, you hit a tab and you move on to the next one, and this is already created. The status is already created, so you don't need to recreate that again when it comes to going to this particular insert and clicking on the drop down. And once you click on that, you have to choose which one is valid, so you don't have to do that at all. So this is really fantastic here for you to take advantage of when it comes to planning projects, and also where the projects or individual sections or task are currently at. Now that this particular project is already created and done, coming from the thumbnail design to script document all the way down to rendered file, where are the specific ideas going to be at in terms of whether it's going to be published or posting status based on which particular section of your social media handle that you're involved in. And this is where the final stage comes into play, where first we have to accomplish that by going to insert, go to, in this case, building blocks. And once you go to building blocks, we have another interesting tool that will be important, which is launch content tracker. And once you click on that, we have this right here where the first column is the type. In this case, usually I just type, of course, the title of that particular video. In this case, I'm going to have the description that usually I put the description section underneath your YouTube main video, and whatever that you put there is many general idea or thesis of your specific video. Now, the next one here is publish date, is when do you hope to have this particular video published. So in this case, next one here, is it published? No. If it is published, then you click yes and you'll move on to the next one. So that's really something that is really of great addition here. Otherwise, if you want to recreate this, all you do is go to insert, go to drop down, and once you click on drop down, we have the following to be shown right here, yes or no. And that is something that you can click on and it's going to be inserted right in this particular cell. Now, next one here is outlet. Where do you want these to be posted? In this case here, post it on YouTube. Sometimes if you're in a classroom, you're a teacher and you want to post it somewhere, like for example on Google Classroom, and sometimes in my school we use Hapara. And final one here is link to the content. So after you've created a video and you've imported it already in your social handle of your choice, what you just do is go there, get the link and insert it right here. So these are the key things to keep in mind in terms of how to organize and track productivity of your organization to keep things really smooth, engaging and productive, and also foster collaboration and creativity in your workflow, and keeping everyone on the same page. I hope you found this really informative in terms of first having a general idea on what your project is about by using this particular tool, which is already created using this insert, and going to the specific product roadmap. And once you're done with this, the next step is how you're going to be able to follow through with the individual task that is related to the main project created based on your project assets. And finally, here is looking at how you'll be able to show the progress in terms of not only whether it's published or not published to specific social handle of your choice by using launch content tracker, which is what we have created right here. So I hope you found this really informative. Please hit the comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts about this. By that way, I can talk to you all soon. Stay smart as always and believe in yourselves.